Good evening and welcome to Greenlight. I'm Richard Parrott and I'm joined by Oisín as we dissect the last 7 days of Irish football action. Oisín, it's been a busy few days. It seems like a lifetime ago that the Ireland under-21s played, but what a performance, and it'll live long in the memory.
Yeah, it was only last Tuesday. Easy to forget, I suppose. But it was a brilliant performance. 1-0 down at half-time and then to turn around to win 4-1. It was unbelievable. Some real standout performances as well. I think some players really stood out. Really had like a coming out party, I suppose, on their behalf. So I thought it was a really good performance from
Against a strong Sweden side as well.
Yeah, really strong Swedish side.
The bookies had them as favourites.
Yeah, because I was
foolishly
watching the first half. I was thinking, because I remember it was actually almost a carbon copy of the game away from home as well. Because in the first half, in that game, Sweden looked really strong and they were good on the ball and it just looked like a complete side. And then in Tala again, it was kind of the same thing where they were strong on the ball, they were knocking it well to each other, scored a fantastic goal. But then in the second half, changes were made and the result
took
came
over.
Yeah.
And the result came in a good manner as well in terms of the football. So
exactly.
Just for context, the Swedish team came into the game, I think, after walloping Iceland.
They did, yeah.
So hence why they were bookies' favourites. And the belief was that the result over in Sweden was an anomaly, that Ireland had beaten them. But to come out at half time and just obliterate the opponents with Adam Ida was one of the standouts.
Yeah, I thought there was a good few standout players, to be fair. Adam Ida was brilliant. I think he proved that he has a lot more in his game than meets the eye maybe in that game, because I think he's seen as kind of a target man. I always thought he did have a bit about it, but more of just a target man, a good presence to have up there. But he showed so much. I mean, just that little bit of skill where that kind of little Ronaldinho flick through the defender's legs.
Yeah, that defender will never live that down.
Yeah, exactly. And then he beat another defender and knocked into the area. And like, it was a piece of skill that wasn't a meaningless piece of skill. He got into a good area, managed to get the ball across. But I thought he played brilliantly. Even setting up Leo Connor's goal was fantastic. Great run, great ball. He played excellently.
He's still 18 as well.
Yeah, it's hard to believe seeing him on the pitch that he's still 18. And there's been a bit of clamour. He's another one. There's been a clamour for him to get some first team action, whether it be at Norwich or out on loan. But again, easy to forget that he's only 18, so still so young.
Yeah, the other standout performer was Zak Elbouzedi. So people might know a lot about Elbouzedi. He's not one of the bigger names in the squad, but he is one of the bigger performers. So can you just give us an overview on Elbouzedi?
Yeah, so Elbouzedi's one of the older players in the squad now at this stage. He's 21, and he's been a favourite of Stephen Kenny really since he took over. He's played 10 games. He scored 3 goals, and the only 2 games he's missed have been in the Toulon tournament where he suffered a dislocated shoulder. So he's played every single competitive game for Stephen Kenny's men. He's at Waterford at the moment. He scored 6 goals last season. Had a really good season. He was with West Brom initially. West Brom signed him from Malahide United. He left West Brom, went to Inverness, Caledonian Thistle.
And it didn't work out there.
Didn't quite work out for him there. He got injured. I think he got a knee injury, so he was out for about 5 months. And then when he came back from injury, the squad was a little bit settled there, so he just couldn't really break in. I think he made 4 substitute appearances. And then subsequently he decided his contract was cancelled by mutual consent, and he decided to come back home and see there. And that's when Alan Reynolds picked up the phone and said, I want you. If you come here, I can guarantee you game time.
And he said he'd guarantee him a good style of football as well.
Yeah, what I liked was, I actually spoke to Zak Elbouzedi yesterday, and what I liked when he was speaking about Alan Reynolds and Watford United, he said that Alan Reynolds said they promised him that he'd be enjoying his football again, and that's huge for a player coming back. He spoke about it himself. He said it was difficult for him. His family helped him a little bit. He said it was difficult, but it was good that straight away Alan Reynolds was onto him, straight away offer him a contract, and yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment.
Be interesting to see where he ends up next season.
That's the thing. Yeah, there's been interest from a host of clubs.
So an unnamed source has told us that clubs in England are interested.
Clubs in England and Scotland as well are interested in him. So he spoke quite well on this subject. Actually, I asked him a little bit about this, and he said that it has to be the correct move for him. He's not just going to jump at any club in England or any club in Scotland because it's England or Scotland. He said he wouldn't. If it happens that he stays in Ireland, he will do. It's just about the correct club and the correct next move, I suppose, in his career. So it makes sense.
I think the term he used was unfinished business.
Yeah, unfinished business. Yeah, that's what he has in Scotland. And
Alan Reynolds will enjoy that anyway.
Yeah. No, but he didn't. He meant it as kind of, I suppose, a term of endearment, I suppose, more so than a kind of a dig at Waterford. But it's good to show that it goes to show you that he's still motivated enough and still feels like he spoke about it. He said, I think I am good enough to do it at a high level. And to be fair to him, whenever I've seen him for the under-21s, he has proven that he can do it at quite a high level.
What's interesting as well is that Kenny has played him in every game he's been available for, so he missed 2 through a dislocated shoulder, I believe. But what's interesting from an Irish senior football standpoint is that he's not one of the bigger names playing over in England, yet he's a central part of that
Yeah.
Kenny team, which bodes well for the senior setup. I mean, is it too strange to imagine a world where a League of Ireland player could be in the senior setup with Ireland regularly?
Yeah, it's brilliant, and he kind of works so well in the system too. He links up really well with OConnor on that right hand side. He can play on the left, and he can play centrally as well. So he's a very versatile player. Works really hard for the team, and Kenny's belief in him is such that he actually captained the team twice over the last 2 games. So when Darragh O'Shea was sent off against Armenia, he was given the armband for maybe 10 minutes. And when Jason Malumbi was taken off Conor Ronan in the Sweden game, he was given the armband for the second half. And of course, we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
So he clearly has leadership qualities, which is great to see. He's clearly a player that Stephen Kenny has faith in. And yeah, I think it does bode well for the seniors that Elbouzedi was not necessarily. I mean, you look at that squad and you see your Troy Parrotts, even your Darragh O'Shea's, your Adam Idas, guys like that who stand out straight away on the team sheet. Whereby Elbouzedi was probably one of the quieter ones, one of the ones that didn't have as much hype around him, but he's still excelling and he's exceeding in this position, or in this situation, I suppose. And yeah, I think it does bode well for senior stuff.
Moving on to a squad mate of his, it's been a bad week for Troy Parrott. Well, bad is probably an exaggeration, but it's definitely not been a positive one. So from the highs of an international debut to the low of not training with the Spurs senior squad this morning. So Mourinho has arrived, and true to form, it looks like youth isn't at the top of his mind.
Yeah, Parrott's in a difficult situation now really with Mourinho coming in, because I think we all know how much Pochettino rated him, how much he gave him his chance. I suppose he was kind of that 19th man really around the first.
But could we expect anything other than Mourinho to concentrate on bigger players and just get to January and get players in? Like, what Premier League manager is going to rest their career on a 17-year-old?
That's the thing, yeah. And Mourinho is so, and this is not necessarily, I don't think, a criticism of Mourinho, but he is so now, and he's being brought in for results right away. Tottenham were, I think they're maybe 10th or so now, but they were 14th when he came in. Like, that's no, Spurs should not be 14th given the squad that they have. So can you blame him? Not really. I mean, we look back at Mourinho's track record, and he did claim, he actually said in his first press conference that if the potential is there, he'd be happy to develop it in the youth squads. But if we look back at his history, he outlined that he promoted 60 players.
But it wasn't true.
But no, it wasn't necessarily true. Now, the Guardian, to be fair to them, investigated this a little bit. This was before Mourinho went to Manchester United. And if you add the players that he gave a chance to at United to the players from Chelsea, Inter, there's a total of about 40 players that you could say he truly did, because someone like Arjen Robben, I mean, he had a full season.
Well, I'd like to see the definition of bringing players through.
That's
in that case, is Mick McCarthy responsible for Troy Parrott and Aaron Conley, regardless
exactly.
of what happens.
So yeah, that's about 40. So in about 20-ish years, 40 players, not fantastic. But then again, I mean, that's, I suppose, it's par for the course for Mourinho.
So Parrott, where does he go from here? Is it? I don't think any Premier League manager will take a chance on him. With no disrespect, it's just he's so immature in terms of Premier League footballing age. So is it a Championship level club?
Yeah, well, obviously there was the reports, I think we'll touch on a little bit, of major European clubs looking for him. Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Juventus, there was even Real Madrid mentioned. For me, I think a Championship loan would probably be the best way forward. Now, it would be about finding the right club, and that will be difficult, and the right style of play, and so much now goes into loan moves.
Yeah.
There's loan managers at some clubs. I know even Brighton have a loan manager, which is unbelievable now to think about it. But it has to be the right club.
They have an interesting one. They run awards for loan player of the month. So there's a specific person designated, and then if you're playing with a different club, you win Player of the Month awards.
It's crazy, like, so that just shows you, even a club like Brighton, no disrespect to Brighton, but they're mid-table, bottom half Premier League club, and they're still going to the ends of the earth nearly to ensure that their loan players are playing and ensure that they're at the right club. So Spurs will have to put that kind of effort, I suppose, into finding the right one for Parrott. That's why I think maybe a European club might not be the worst thing in the world. High profile European club, I don't know, but in terms of a loan, maybe
the fear is that he would be swallowed up and not reach his potential, but then also there's many people have been cast down to the Championship and failed to return, so that's the worry. I guess, look, he's highly thought of, and we could be reading into things a bit too prematurely. The fact is, Mourinho's come in, and prior to that he was in the senior squad. Mourinho's come in, he's not in the senior squad. So look, I guess the story will develop, particularly with January just around the corner.
Yeah.
There were a few standout performers in all levels of British football over the last 7 days, particularly this weekend. So we've picked out some performers. I know Daryl Horgan was back on the score sheet for Hibs, which was great for him. Hopefully he can kick on from there. He only came on as a sub.
Yeah.
Enda Stevens was strong. Callum Robinson also got an assist after coming on the bench for Sheffield United. But David McGoldrick was the standout performer in that game.
Yeah, in that game I think McGoldrick was great. He just continues to get better and better with each game that I see of him, really. Just his work rate is incredible. The little things that he does. I mean, we saw for the run for Mousse's goal, John Fleck picked up the ball and McGoldrick darted out to the left, brought Maguire with him, and then that left the space through for Mousse. His finish was fantastic, but that goal doesn't happen without the movement of David McGoldrick.
That's what's important with McGoldrick, or McGoldrick, some people are saying to him, right?
Hard.
I think that's unfair
Hard.
because he adds so much more than just goals. So I think the ratings across the board were an average of 7s or 8s out of 10 against Manchester United.
Yeah, that's a massive game, and he was probably unlucky not to find the net. De Gea made a great save, but it's not. I think it goes beyond that now for McGoldrick, and especially in a system like that when you've got guys like John Lundstrom, John Fleck, midfielders find the net. They have centre backs that overlap. They find the net too. So I'd say you could probably argue it'd be an issue if other players weren't scoring as well. But McGoldrick's not in that team to score 20 goals a season.
No.
He's in that team to create space for the likes of Mousse, for the likes of even Norwood coming through the midfield, for them to find the net. So yeah, all in all, I thought he was great.
Speaking of goal scoring Ireland internationals, Ronan Curtis was at the double for Pompey against Rochdale. So Rochdale are managed by Brian Barry Murphy, son of Jimmy Barry Murphy, and they had a centre back pairing of Jimmy Keohane, ex Cork City, and Owen O'Connell, whose brother Andy is ex Cork City. Owen was with Celtic for a number of years. Yeah. So Ronan Curtis, 2 goals. He had been struggling for form. I know the fans were on his back. Yeah. Is he somebody we could see being in Ireland squads under Stephen Kenny?
Under Stephen Kenny potentially, because I mean last season I think he showed that he has got the potential to be a really strong player. He's still only like 23. Actually, he is 23. So he hasn't had the start in terms of goals and assists that he would have liked, perhaps compared to the start of last season. But there's still development there. Portsmouth are building themselves back up a little bit. They had a really poor start to the season, but they're building themselves up a little bit, and Curtis is building himself up too. So I think Curtis does probably have the potential. I think he probably would have to move up a level, whether that be with Portsmouth or whether that be with another championship club, I'm not so sure. But yeah, I think Curtis has the potential to be
positive
a
weekend
squad player. Yeah.
And the third player who performed admirably,
yes.
You'll be happy to know, was James McClean, who seems to have hit a bit of form. I know we've been vocal in our criticism of him. We still think we were correct in saying that he wasn't playing to his ability, but he seems to have turned a corner. Stoke in a relegation dogfight against one of his older clubs, Wigan. McLean got man of the match. So my question is it a case of a good manager coming in and knowing how to, I suppose, use what strengths do exist with McLean, because Michael O'Neill has taken over and it's had an immediate impact on his club form? Yeah,
credit where it's due for McLean. He had a great game. Some of the stats: 3 key passes, 4 tackles won, 14 duels won. He won the man of the match, as you said. I think in terms of Michael O'Neill, I think he'd be brilliant for McLean. I think just to start off, just playing him in his right position is a good start. Like, he's not a left back. I don't know what Nathan Jones was thinking trying that out, and that's not really a knock on McLean because that's not his position. But I think O'Neill spoke about simplicity and bringing simplicity to his game, which is, when you boil it down, that's what McLean is good at, the simple things really. And I mean, if he continues to play like that, because as you said, we know he's going to start in March, and if he continues to play like that and he's in that kind of form, he's helping Stoke up the table, then maybe his start would be welcomed in that game.
Must be tough to say that.
Listen.
So we've got a decision to make. Our 3 contenders are David McGoldrick, who was excellent for Sheffield United. We've got Ronan Curtis, who scored 2 goals for Portsmouth. We've got James McClean, who was man of the match. You've given him a lot of credit, but I believe he doesn't take the award.
Yeah, again, this is not a knock on McLean. This is more so.
Looks like one.
I know, it seems like it. We're going to get it in the comments now. But for me, it has to be McGoldrick, just in the sense that it was such a big game and he contributed so much without scoring or assisting again. I think McGoldrick has to really take it. It was close though, to be fair, because Curtis also had a great game.
But the foundation of your argument lies on the level they're playing at. So
certainly.
2 goals for Portsmouth is slightly less than a man of the match for Stoke, which is considerably less than
against,
a near man of the match
against Manchester United
in the Premier League.
Sunday, cameras on. It's a huge game, really. It is. And McGoldrick was fantastic. Ran his socks off. Brilliant touches. Brought everyone into the game. And so McGoldrick is this week's player of the week, I suppose.
Thanks very much for listening to Greenlight. Another busy 7 days ahead, so we'll be covering all the Irish action as it happens, and maybe James McClean might win the award someday.
He will.
Thanks for listening.